This is Conference Committee on House Bill 2097. It's my understanding that we're kind of being a catch-all committee this year. The contents of 2097 are not being conferenced. It's my understanding that we are going to be inserting a film tax credit bill. I don't have the bill number. We might kind of do a little back and forth here. I think we're taking as it was passed through the Senate Commerce Committee.
That is correct. The bill, for your benefit and for the benefit of staff, would be Senate Bill 91 as it passed the Senate Commerce Committee. That is a bill that is an income tax credit and a sales tax exemption, transferable but not refundable. However, I'm going to let staff make certain that I don't misspeak on anything.
The only thing I was going to mention is it's not refundable, it's transferable, but it does permit a 10-year carry forward also. So transferable and carry forward, but not refundable.
But there's a limitation, not past 10 years, it expires at that point.
Yeah, the carry forward period is limited to the 10-year window.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so that's, Mr. Chairman, that's the bill that we have before us.
Correct.
I think there was some discussion in our last tax conference committee of perhaps including the sales tax exemption. Sorry, let me look through my notes here. As it was in House Bill 2041, that is the community theaters. The House would like to make an offer to also include the contents of that.
We did, while we were in previous conference committees, talk about the fact that that would be put into the new package or the new bill 2041. However, Mr. Chairman, after looking at the language, it would be our preference, rather than use the language, would be to name specifically the 6 theaters that would qualify under the language in 2041. And I will mention those theater names to you. That would be Theater Atchison, Theater Lawrence, Topeka Civic Theater, Great Plains Theater, Salina Community Theater, and the final one is Music Theater of Wichita. Now, these names may have an INC after their name, but that can be determined by staff to learn the precise name, I believe. And our position would be preference to name the 6 that qualify, and then if there are further theaters in the future that would qualify, they would come to the legislature as about any other entity and ask for the tax exemption.
Okay, so your intention is to specifically identify these rather than creating kind of a lump category, just naming these individually.
That is our ask, yes, sir, and that's our offer.
Okay. If you wouldn't mind, we'll discuss that right quick. Thank you for your patience, Mr. Chairman. In the House, we've had several discussions about, when we get into the business of picking winners and losers by naming specific organizations, we like to create more of a lump sum category, but we would entertain that offer if you would also be willing to include the other priority that the House had that we didn't get out of the tax conference earlier was the Friends of Cedar Crest sales tax exemption for purchases and sales of products, not for any construction projects, but just for the purchases and sales for Friends of Cedar Crest. If you would be willing to accept that, we would also accept your offer on the individual naming.
I don't see a problem, but I'll confer with my colleagues for just a moment. We appreciate that offer, Mr. Chairman, so we will accept the Friends of Cedar Crest since you're accepting the naming of the specific theaters.
I believe there's been some discussion also of a National Guard bill. I didn't know if Senator Claeys had the information on that. I just want to make sure we got the correct version of what was being discussed.
Senator
Mr. Chairman.
Claeys does have some information, a little more knowledgeable, so I will turn it over to him to elaborate for us somewhat.
Yes, we would like to offer House Bill 2544 as amended further by the House Conference Committee. That would bring us to a more reasonable fiscal note on that particular item. Sorry, that was Tax Committee. Commerce.
Yes, it did go through the House Commerce Committee. We didn't see that on our side. I hate to put staff on the spot, but would you mind just reviewing the details of that? I can't remember. It never came across the floor, so I don't remember any debate or discussion on that.
Sure, that's no problem. The bill creates, in essence, two tax credits related to the employment of Kansas residents who are members in good standing of the Kansas Army or Air National Guard. One of those is an employer credit, and so that is 10% of the total compensation, excluding certain kind of benefits that is paid to the member during the tax year, with it capped at $1,000. And then the other one is an employee credit that is 10% of the amount of compensation, once again, excluding those, the benefits, that is, again, capped at $1,000 and per employer per year, per taxpayer per year. They're both non-refundable, and they are both kind of 5-year. It's a 5-year program. It expires after. It's tax years 25 through 29.
Okay. Yeah, I think the main piece I was looking for, couldn't remember if it was refundable or non-refundable, but they're non-refundable. Okay. Eddie, do you have the fiscal numbers on that?
Yeah, this the revised version of this is a annual $3.8 million fiscal impact. It begins in fiscal year 26, since it's a tax year 25 program.
Yeah, I had a printout here with several different. I wanted to make sure I had the right version.
Yeah, if I recall correctly, the Commerce Committee looked at several different possible cap levels, and the one they settled on was that 1,000. That was the 3.8 million.
Representative Bergkamp has a question.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So Eddie, qualified employer, so if you're a sole proprietor, I guess, as also a, I guess, member who'd qualify for this, I assume you'd get the credit. Does that sound correct?
You would
Yeah, like
only get
self-employed.
I believe you would only get the employer credit in that instance, because the owner of a sole proprietorship is not considered an employee. Adam's nodding, so that's a good sign.
Okay, thank you.
I think we've got our questions answered, and we're certainly willing to accept that position from the Senate.
Mr. Chairman, I do want to make certain that it's clear on the Senate Bill 91 that we do need to change the year, is my understanding, to move that forward by a year. That since this is legislation left over from
Oh, from
2023.
last year, okay. Yes, we're agreeable to that.
Other than that, I didn't have anything. I had all kinds of suggestions of things that I could throw in for
Yeah, if we want to
consideration.
have revisers or research cover our pay, no, I'm kidding.
No,
No, I think this is maybe a record for a tax conference right now, but
that was my goal, to be able to say that, no, set a record on time and speed, but, so I don't have anything further. You gentlemen got anything?
okay.
I don't think.
Thank you. Anything from staff for clarification? Seeing none? Thank you, gentlemen. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.